strategy. All right, give yourself a target to aim at, again, for the short term and the long term. And we do this by setting goals. And it can sound cliche, it can sound cheesy, but goals keep you focused. The Perspective Podcast is fuel for your mind and creative grind. Each week, my guests and I provide the skills for thinking bigger, overcoming adversity, and making an impact with your work. What's going on? You're listening to episode 120 of the Perspective Podcast. I'm your host, Scotty.D.Russell of Perspective Collective, and I'm here to help you build a killer side hustle and elevate your brand outside your day job. And at the end of each episode, I plug a listener of the week, so stick around to figure out how you can get a shout out on a future episode in the show notes as well as in the newsletter. Today, I got another solo, short, punchy, fiery episode for you, and I'm going to lead it off with a quote from my longtime homie, Abe Lincoln, and Abraham, as I used to call him, but he stated the best way to predict your future is to create it. And that's what this episode is all about today, is creating your own future. And I get a lot of questions through Instagram DMs, my private Facebook community, the Perspective-Collective, always trying to answer everyone back as much as I can. And the more I continue to answer these questions, I start noticing these themes and these underlying patterns. And so figured what better way than to compile all my responses and put them all together, take these tips to try and build some game plan that I can then, polish up and present in an episode to then hand off to you. So if you have questions, you can refer back to this one. So that's why today I compiled everything from your answers or from your questions into the 6-step game plan for finding clarity and creating your own future. And again, I want this episode to serve as a reference. So during times maybe you're lacking that clarity or you need that spark to keep pushing forward, I want to refer you back to this episode 120. And you can find everything we talk about today in the show notes at perspective-collective.com/120 or find it in the YouTube description below. And if you find value in this episode today, let me know what you think. Spread the good word. Spread this on Instagram. Take a screenshot of you listening. Take a video of you working to it in the background. Tag me on Instagram stories. Share the love over there so I can give you a reshare back. It's because of you that the show keeps growing. When you share with your friends and your following, I appreciate the hell out of it. So keep an open mind and act on anything that makes an impact on you today. All right, let's just get right into it. So I'm going to have to scroll so I can see my notes as we go. And so step one of this 6-step game plan is all about having a vision. And Jonathan Swift said, "Vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others." And that's what a vision is. It's projecting what you want to do or what you want to become within the future, okay? And having that mentality, that vision of what you want in life, that's what's really going to spring you forward. And I'm a big believer in that. It's important to lock down these 3 things. This is what I've been but this is what my mindset and plan of attack has been around mainly towards the end of 2018, was locking down these 3 things and being as specific as possible in terms of my vision. So one is knowing what you want. What do you want in life? And the second is know who you want to be. Who do you want to become as a person? Who do you want your identity to be? And the final one is know where you're going. And this can kind of double up on number 1 of knowing what you want in life, but where are you going in life? What direction are you going? Where do you want to go? And I really think it's important to sit down and hash these things out and be as specific as possible, whether it's a short-term vision or a long-term vision. And with each one of these steps, I want to give you an action step. All right, I don't want this to be a motivation fix. I want you to go out and act on these things. So the action step for step 1 is write down a detailed answer for each one of these 3 things. Know what you want, know who you want to be, and know where you're going in life. All right, that's what I want to challenge you today. And again, make sure and write down if it's in terms of your short term, so something like just this year, what you want to accomplish in terms of vision for 2019, or if you have some type of long-term future vision of 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Plan that out, take action on it, write it down. And let's just keep flying through the list. So number 2, or step 2 in this game plan of finding clarity and creating the future that you want is build a game plan, okay? Simple as is. All right, so what I mean by this is strategy. All right, give yourself a target to aim at again, for the short term and the long term. And we do this by setting goals. And it can sound cliche, it can sound cheesy, but goals keep you focused. And what I recommend doing is making something a SMART goal. And a SMART goal is something that is specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's relevant, and it's time bound. So let's say, for example, so if you're setting a goal that's specific, get as specific as you can with your goal. Me and my wife just finished an 8-week workout class. We're on another 8-week kind of boot camp called Fighter Body. And going into the week, I had us write down SMART goals. Let's get as specific as possible. Don't just say, I want to lose weight. Be like, I want to lose 10 pounds by the end of this 8-week session. So by this date, March 15th, I want to lose 10 pounds, 3% body fat, 5 inches along my weight, sort of yada yada. You get what I mean, but you're getting specific. All right, and it's measurable because you can track it each week how much weight loss you have or how many inches you have to get to that end date, which would be time bound. We'll get to that in a second. And the A in SMART goal is attainable. Like, is this an attainable goal? And to lose 10 pounds, yes, in 8 weeks, that's pretty attainable. You got to get your ass right in the kitchen. But from the aspect of, like, say I was going to lose 50 pounds in 8 weeks, that's not really an attainable goal. And next, is it relevant? And if my main goal from my personal side of my health and fitness side is to, get more healthy and have a better fitness lifestyle, a better nutrition lifestyle, so I can be around a lot longer for my child and set a good example from him, then hell yeah, this is a very relevant goal and time bound. When are you going to have this accomplished by? So for me, our fitness goal was by the end of this 8-week period. So that's an example of a SMART goal. How can you apply that to your creative business? How can you apply that to your day job? How can you apply that to your family life? So just to get you a little bit more specific, don't be vague as hell. Be like, I want to make more money this year. How much money do you want to make? When do you want to accomplish this by? How are you going to measure this goal? And you need a way to track and measure your goals. That's the most important thing. And it's even more important to write your goals down. There's something magical, some magical connection that when you think of a goal, you say it and you write it, and then you put that shit in front of you where you see it each day. It keeps yourself accountable. Or it's just another level of accountability. And so an action step for this is, what's that one thing you want to accomplish in 2019, okay, that aligns to your vision of where you want to be short-term or long-term? Like mine is to be a top 20 or top 10 podcast in iTunes by the end of 2020, all right? And as well as being a full-time Perspective Collective, having myself and my wife work from home. Okay, those are my main visions of what I want to accomplish while still making the biggest impact on people as possible. So your action step is, what is the one thing you want to accomplish in 2019? And how can you then break that down into a SMART goal that's relative to your vision? Cool? All right, moving on. We're going to move on to step number 3 in this game plan, and that's simply take action. Easier said than done, but it can be easy if you stop overcomplicating things, which is one of like my biggest goals this year, is stop overcomplicating shit. I have that written down everywhere I see it, at my day job, in my desk right over here. I can see this is a daily reminder. And what I mean by this is, stop waiting for your dreams to come to you. Act on it. Take initiative. Be proactive. Opportunities don't just magically arrive to your front door like a fresh piping hot pizza that was delivered to you, okay? Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Wouldn't it be great? But there's no such thing as an overnight success. The people that are becoming successful are the people who have been putting in the works behind the scenes, grinding in silence, and taking massive action, being proactive, taking initiative, and taking extreme ownership and accountability of your life and what you want out of life, okay? If life was a lemon, squeeze the hell out of that lemon to get all the juice out of it. And that's what taking action provides. And the action step within the step 3 of this game plan is, with that previously created SMART goal we just did that aligns with your vision, all right, what's the first step you should take on it ASAP? All right, if you're able to act on it today, if you're watching this early in the day, fantastic. Make a game plan. Take that first action step today. Otherwise, take it first thing tomorrow. Use this evening if you're watching this late, and craft that game plan so you go into bed meditating and marinating on what you're going to accomplish tomorrow. So if you're looking to get into blogging or vlogging, maybe it's setting up your topic, all right? Creating an outline. Maybe it's actually hitting record the next day, or maybe it's hitting publish or on that drawing that you've had in your back pocket that you're too scared to show. So what is that one action step that you can take immediately? All right, act. Good things don't happen to those who don't take action. Moving on to number 4, build relationships. I don't know exactly who said it. I probably should have looked up the quote, but you hear it all the time. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And I heard this from somewhere else recently. Again, I couldn't lock this one down, but who you know is going to help you get your foot in the door, okay? It's going to give you that opportunity, but it's what you know in terms of skills that's going to get you that cheddar, the cheese, that's going to, help you pay off the bills. So knowing people, I don't want to say connections. I think that's a slimy word. I don't go networking. I'm about building relationships with people, win-win scenarios, and I want to approach this from a standpoint of how can I be a giver and not a taker. There's a lot of mooches within my family. I have a lot of friends who are mooches. They're just parasites and plagues and just like feed off everybody else taking advantage of people. And I refuse to ever operate that way. I want to be known as a giver. I want on my tombstone to say, Scotty, here lies the soul of Scotty.D.Russell. He was a creative fellow and he gave more than he took. All right. Always give more than you take. And I'm a huge believer the universe or whatever you believe in, karma, it's going to come back around. And the more you put into this world, the more you're going to get back. So the more I invest in other people, the more I give value to people, opportunities and luck and financial situations, they're going to come my way when I'm prepared for them. So community is everything. And my action step for this is seek out some type of community. Community changed my life. And it would have been like 2014 is when I really started pursuing Perspective Collective, and I stumbled across the Sean West community. I'm not in it now. I've been out of it for a few years. A lot of people don't agree with it, but for me, it really helped me out flip this switch of how I see things differently in the world. And Sean McCabe really helped me out. And I'll talk more about him in a second. But my action step to you is seek out a community of like-minded individuals who have similar visions and goals that you're trying to accomplish as well. So that way you can all latch onto each other and grow at the same time. And that's what really helped me. And some of the people I met in that community and other communities now have significantly changed my life and become some of my best friends. We have mentorships around, mastermind groups that we're all in with the Slack group. And it's been incredible to see our careers take off. So the action step. Find that community, and if you're searching for one, I got the perfect one for you. Again, Facebook, the Perspective-Collective. Come and join our group of global creators, and we got people all over the place collaborating, sharing their work, sharing their resources, and it's just an incredible, prosperous family, and everybody's grinding and elevating, and it's awesome to see. It's truly rewarding. It's truly humbling. And that's as much as I'm going to say about that. If you want to join, the link is down in the description. So, again, that's building relationships, number 4. So, all right, let's move on to number 5. Be consistent. Consistency is everything. And when I was getting into the mix 2014 with Perspective Collective and I found the Sean West community, I found the Sean West podcast, Sean McCabe has a quote that has been just ingrained in my mind. It's people don't notice announcements. People notice consistency. I'm gonna say that one more time in case you missed it. People don't notice announcements. People notice consistency. And ever since then, I have produced some type of weekly content for that's 5 years now. About 5 years, I produced some type of weekly content, whether it was a drawing, a blog post, now a video, a podcast episode, something, a long set of tweets of spilling my feelings or a quick little Instagram story or something. I've produced something. And the importance of consistency is you got to stay in front of people to remind people that you exist. And people operate on a daily and a weekly structure. So if you can post at, say, 11 a.m. every Wednesday, you're going to start finding that you're building yourself within someone else's routine. Or people come to know and expect something from you. If you're someone who posts daily, people expect to see something daily from you. If you say you do a weekly podcast, over time, people are going to expect that from you. I make custom artwork for each episode, and people have grown to expect me to have artwork for each episode now. But in the beginning, no one paid attention. All right, it took me a long time for people to start catching on to this, and now you know that you're going to get a weekly episode. to your inbox at 5 a.m. through your newsletter at perspective-collectiveteam.com if you want to be the first to get it. But every Wednesday, you'll get something from me. And then I sprinkle in things all around that. But consistency is so important. And here's your action step. I recommend putting out something at least once a week, all right, to get into someone's routine. Find a specific time and stick to it, all right, and make it a part of your SMART goal. You're time bound every week at Wednesday at 11 a.m. Maybe it's that. Or if you have an Instagram business account, you see these are your busy times. Find something. That's my challenge to you. If you're doing a drawing, you're doing a podcast, you're doing a vlog, whatever you're doing, make something weekly. Make it achievable. Make it measurable. Make it objective. All right, just make it happen. And the sixth step is persistency. Be persistent. So consistency, persistency. Life is fucking rough, but adversity is the bridge that leads you to your next destination. It's all a part of the journey, okay? Those hardships, what I call it is the crust. Back in episode 94 of the 3 Life Lessons Learned from Loving Pizza series is learn to love the crust. And the start of 2019 has been really, really crusty for me, all right? Between my dad being in and out of the hospital, we're not sure what his sickness was, or, he's been sick for over a year and we're trying to figure out what his illness is. It's making his life miserable between then me getting super sick and then my son dealing with RSV going in and out of the hospital, and my grandpa just died. So much shit is going on this year, but in spite of it, there's so much good going on too. And so those hard times, those crusty times in life, that's what's molding and shaping us to the person we're supposed to become. So love the crust. Be persistent. It takes a lot of grit and perseverance to get through those times. But, you can't appreciate the highs without the lows, and you can't experience those sunny days if you're not dealing with those shitty times. So, and I think having something you're passionate about, finding that sweet spot of something you're good at and what you love to do, and then eventually down the road, you'll mix in that third ingredient of finding a market or where you can serve or provide a solution for people. But, having something you're passionate about that gives you some self-worth and provides you a purpose in life, I think that's what's going to really help see you through those tough times. And so my action step for this is hoard your victories. And what I mean by this is keep an ongoing list of everything good that happens. Because it's too easy when you're going through a rough time, one of those low moments of crust, and that inner voice, that inner critic tries to convince you you're a worthless turd. That's when hoarding your victories comes into play. And so I started doing this in 2017 after I got out of a really depressing funk. I talk about it in episode 27, I believe. Episode 25 or 27. All about you were not alone, you were not invisible. How to create through depressing funks. Whatever. Tangent. But what I started to do was in my Wunderlist app, I started an ongoing task list called Good Things in 2017. And when I find myself going through those phases of funks, I can look back on this list and remind me that I've done some pretty cool shit that I should be proud of. And it allows me to celebrate wins, whether they're big or small. And so I have a good things in 2018. I have a good things in 2019. And at the end of the year, when you start feeling like you're not doing enough compared to everybody else and the goals they crushed, you can look back and just see you had a pretty awesome, successful year that has measurable growth. And it's super important. So, all right, those are the 6 steps. And those 6 steps were have a vision, build a game plan, take action, build relationships, be consistent, be persistent. And I believe with all of these, this is the game plan that it's going to allow you to have clarity and allow you to take life and matters into your own hands and create your own future. Stop living in the past, the shit you didn't do, or the regrets that you may have, and take control of the now. Live in the moment, bust your ass so you can provide yourself a fucking hella awesome future that not only is prosperous and fruitful to you, your family, but to other people that you may make contact with, whatever medium or content you create. So I hope you found a lot of value in this today, and it all boils down to basically, how do you want it? All right, it's so easy to make excuses. It's way easier to make excuses. Dig in your bag of excuses and you got a reason for why you couldn't do this or that. It's way harder to get results, and results take all 6 of these steps within this game plan. So if you found value in today's episode, do me a favor. Share this on your social media. Share it with your friends. Tag me on Instagram stories. Take a screenshot. Take a video of you listening. Tag me. Let's get this thing going. Maybe it can make an impact on someone else. So, I appreciate you. And again, check out the Facebook community. I'm not going to go on a long spiel about it again. I pretty much gave a hard plug, but I'd love to have you be a part of the family and be a part of the movement. And again, if this show has made an impact on you and your creative grind, there's 2 ways you can support the show. The first is by backing the show financially over at patreon.com/perspectivepodcast, just like my friends Iron Bean Coffee Company did. And there's different reward brackets. They went to some of the bigger ones, so I give them a shout out in each episode that they support. And the second way to support the show is by subscribing and leaving a rating and review in Apple Podcasts or iTunes, depending on how you're accessing it. But not only does your review help me accomplish my goal of climbing into the top 10 in the design arts category, but it allows me to scratch your back and give you some love as the listener of the week. And this listener of the week comes from my homie Ian Deloney, and he titled this one, "Unlike Anyone Else." Ian states, "Scotty brings a unique, positive, and motivating vibe to the podcast world. He shares great lessons and amazing insight for creatives paving their path. No doubt this is my favorite artistic creative podcast. Highly recommended." Ian, I appreciate you, dude. You have been nothing but insanely supportive of me, my dreams, and the podcast for a while now, and I can't express how grateful I am, so I appreciate you, man. As I sign off, I got to give a huge thank you to my executive assistant, Paige Garland, my video specialist, the homie, Colton Bachar, as well as all the dope theme music that comes from Nick Jenkins of Blookah. I could not do this without you 3. And I want to encourage you as you finish your week strong to keep showing up, keep putting in the work, and keep creating. You got this. Thanks again for listening. It'd be awesome if you took the time to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and let the comment below so we can connect. Again, if you want to catch a shout out as a future listener of the week, make sure you subscribe to the show on iTunes and give it a rating and review.